Let's just take for a moment this discussion, very momentarily. I don't want to expand too much on it. What is the ruling of holding your hands or folding your hands in salah? If you say sunnah, then if one doesn't do it, shouldn't they do sujood al-sahw? Nobody has ever said that you do sujood al-sahw for not folding your arms. Nobody. Classical in Islam. In fact, this is why they don't consider this from the emphasized or from the emphasized sunnah in salah, because there is not even one sarih hadith on where to place your hands in prayer. Not even a single sarih hadith. It must be clear and it must be sahih. Not even one. Now look at that. That's such a wake up pill, because everybody would have been told, what do you mean? I'm sure there must be so many. There isn't even one. Check it out. Every single hadith on where to place the hands in prayer is either weak or it's ambiguous. It's not clear. So if you're going to look in Bukhari, it does not say the Prophet ﷺ told him. Some person said, Umirna, we were commanded to do this. Who commanded you? And they may say, well, that's obvious. It's the Prophet. It's not so obvious. It's not necessarily obvious. And if you're commanded, then surely it must be from the wajibat or the sunan of salah. And if it's from the sunan of salah, surely if you miss it out, you should do sujood al-sahw. Why does no madhab say you should do sujood al-sahw? You take the other hadith in Bukhari, and he's saying about placing the hands on the hand. But then what does the Rawi say? The Rawi says, I believe he's talking, I believe he's referring this back to the Prophet. As in, he says, Wala illa in yunma, that is directed, as in it is assumed, that it is like assumed that we're talking about the Prophet here. Even Ibn Hajar says that had he not said that, the hadith would have been okay. But now it's like, well, why is he having doubts? Why is the person narrating the hadith saying it's most probably the Prophet we're talking about here, that the guidance is going back to? It's not sarih, it's not clear. Something as simple as where to place your hands should have been clear. Why do the other ahadith say that when you do takbir, every limb went back to its resting place? What is the natural resting place if you're standing up and your hands are just, where should the resting place be? So it's interesting, you see. Now you take something like this, let alone the fact that almost every madhab had the opinion of holding the hands at the side. Sadl. It's clearly the Maliki madhab. It's in the Hanbali madhab. I believe it may be from the Qawl Qadim amongst the Shafi'iyya, but it's in the Hanbali madhab. It was the madhab of Awza'i, it was the madhab of Sa'id ibn Musayyib, it was the madhab of Sa'id ibn Jubayr, it was the madhab of Hassan al-Basri, it was the madhab of Layth ibn Sa'ad, it was the madhab of, how are all of these people not knowing Islam? And there's an epistemological, so there's a discussion on this. First of all, there is no single Sahih hadith on where to fold the hands in prayer. Not a single Sahih hadith. That's why it's not from the clear sunnah in salah to fold your arms. It's recommended, or they may say it's a lesser sunnah. Then you have a discussion on epistemology. How is it that you think people learnt Islam? You think they learnt Islam from Sahih Bukhari, from Abu Dawood? who come 250 years after the Prophet. They learnt Islam through the living tradition. Fiqh precedes the documentation of fiqh. The living sunnah, the living tradition precedes the documentation and the efforts of the muhaddithin. The muhaddithin project doesn't come into effect until centuries after Islam. Fiqh was already documented. Imam Malik in his time, his Mudawwana alone has over 30,000 fatwa documented. In his time, Abu Hanifa's Zahir al-Riwayah has 100,000 masail documented. The fiqh precedes hadith. The fiqh is sunnah. Sunnah precedes hadith. I understand this, those scholars who do not make that distinction between hadith and sunnah. But then you need to, one needs to highlight this in a discussion. One needs to say that, look, there are those ulama who draw this distinction because they are the early ulama of Islam. Imam Malik, Imam Abu Hanifa. That is the Maliki madhab and the Hanafi madhab combined is probably what? 70% of all Sunni Islam today on the world, on the globe. That's the Maliki madhab and the Hanafi madhab and the Maliki madhab is like 3/4 almost of entire Sunni. At least you're talking, it is between 2/3 to 3/4 of entire Sunni Islam on the globe today. That's not like a small, that is a huge proportion. It is the overwhelming majority of Sunni Islam on the globe today. So if you're looking at most of Asia, Central Asia, and all that part of the globe, you can see behind me, all the Central Asia and all those populated countries are Hanafi in fiqh. And if you're looking at Maliki, most of Islam in Africa is Maliki. And then you've just got the Middle East. And there you've got some Hanafi, like Iraq, and you've got some Shafi'i, but still Iraq would still probably be, plentiful Hanafi madhab. And then you've just got Jordan, Syria, and these small countries, and you're going to have some Shafi'i. In Egypt, you'll have a mixture of Shafi'i, probably predominantly in Egypt, but then you'll still have Hanafi, you'll have Maliki in Lower Egypt. You're going, sorry, in the Sa'id and those places. So it's still looking at the majority of the entire Muslim world. This is how they understand Islam, that they understand Hadith and Sunnah not to be the same. But whether they know it or not, but their books teach this. So it's a big thing. These things cannot be just, oh, it's not important. It's very important. But yeah, I digress. We'll discuss that another day.